Hello everybody! It has been an age since I posted a video, but I'm trying to get back into it and be more consistent. So today I'm going to be recommending horror books I read recently with a yes, no, or maybe. And I'm going to go a bit more in depth and do an explanation as to my reasoning behind each one. So starting out, we have How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix. Yes, I listened to this one on audiobook, but Grady Hendrix is one of those authors that I think is very good for an intro to horror. He also did Horror Store, which I absolutely loved. His concepts are always cool and yet really creepy, but he balances it out with fun and humor, which I think makes his books much more enjoyable and a much better introduction to the horror genre. I liked the creepy puppets. There's not a lot of horror books that I've read with puppets, marionettes, and this one, the villain or antagonist is wild, and there were some moments in this book that genuinely shocked me. Then next up we have Lost in the Garden by Adam S. Leslie. Unfortunately, I would say no for this one. For the longest time I didn't even realize that this was a horror book based on the cover. It looks very Midsummer, but this book is over 400 pages long and it feels like it. 400 pages is just way too long. I feel like this would make a great novella, like a shorter story, but I really did feel like I was working to get through this book. It's basically about this town that everyone is told as kids never to go there because people go there and they disappear and they never come back. There's also this other thing with they're almost like zombies, people that have come back from the dead and they walk around and they will just attack you. So it's about the main characters going to this village that you're not supposed to, but there's also these zombie type creatures walking around at the same time. It sounds like a lot of fun, but it just wasn't for me. Then next up we have Rotten Tommy by David Sodergren. Definitely yes. All of his books are very extra, very violent, but again also a lot of fun. This is the third David Sodergren book I've read. I've also read The Heart and Maggie's Grave, and I have loved every single one that I've read. If you haven't checked out his work, definitely go do it. Then next up we have Diavola. Yes, this one is a perfect book to read in the summertime. It's about a woman and her family who go on their annual vacation to a Tuscan village, and there is something haunting the manor house that they've booked out. This book also deals with a lot of family drama at the same time, as well as the horror elements, and I actually think this one would be a great movie to adapt. There's this creepy tower in the home that they are staying in that they have a key to, but they're told do not open it under any circumstances, but of course they do. Then I read the other two Clown in a Cornfield books by Adam Caesar. Yes, I listened to the rest of this series on audiobook. I read the first one a couple of years ago and then I just didn't come back to it for ages, but I'm glad that I did. I thought I'd finish the series, but I believe there's going to be a fourth one. I think I definitely enjoyed book number 3 more than I did number 2. I just enjoyed the concept of the third one a lot more. It's the Church of Friendo, so I kind of liked the culty village religious vibes of the third one. Bunker Dogs, maybe. I was really excited by the idea of this one. It's basically about a babysitter who goes around to the house of the kid that she's babysitting for the night, and then suddenly the world ends, and luckily this kid's parents have a bunker in their back garden. So they take shelter in this bunker, but everything is not as it seems. The main character also has some weird things going on in her life, and it takes a very crazy turn that you would not expect. I think that is why I say maybe with this one, because although I liked it, I unfortunately didn't enjoy the plot as much as where I thought it was going to go in my head or when I first picked it up, but I definitely wouldn't dissuade people from reading it. Then in anticipation of the movie coming out, I read The Long Walk by Stephen King. Maybe. I like Stephen King books, but the problem that I've noticed with some of his writing is he likes to go into a lot of detail, and as much as I love the dystopian competition, you've got to walk till there's only one of you left part of this book, it still did feel a bit long. But that being said, a book which is only about walking, I enjoyed way more than you would think, and I cannot wait to go and see the movie. Then we have Strange Pictures by Uketsu. Yes, I read this book in 24 hours. If you don't know what it's about a bunch of drawings. Each one is the piece to a mystery, and if you look at the pictures hard enough, you can figure out what that is. I love trying to be a detective and figure out where the plot of thrillers are going, and this book is perfect for that. It's one of those ones that once you start reading it, you can't put it down, and it's just so easy and fast-paced to read. Then I also read Strange Houses by Uketsu. Maybe. This one I also read in 24 hours. I read it immediately after Strange Pictures, and maybe that's why I didn't enjoy it as much. This one started out really interesting, but I feel like the plot towards the end wasn't as strong. It was a bit confusing for me. There is a third one of these though called Strange Buildings, which is coming out soon, I believe. So I will definitely be reading that one. If you're going to read either of these books, I definitely recommend checking out Strange Pictures first. And then lastly, we have The Stepford Wives by Ira Levin. Definitely yes. This book was written in the 1970s and still really holds up to this day. I've managed to avoid any kind of spoilers for The Stepford Wives up until this point, so I didn't really know too much about this book going into it, other than it's like the picture perfect suburban life, but it's not actually like that under the surface. And it's so interesting and surprisingly still very relevant. So they are recommending the horror books that I've read recently with a yes, no, or maybe. If you've read any of these books, let me know down in the comments. If you also have any ideas for other videos that I can film, please let me know. If you want more horror recommendations, please give me a follow. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Bye.